Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. So glad to be here with you again on a Mindset and Motivation Monday, one of my favorite shows of the week. And today I'm giving you a modern day twist on an ancient Ayurvedic-based wisdom. Now, the interesting thing about Ayurvedic medicine is that it was written down 6,000 plus years ago. We know it's much older than that, but at least recorded history, we have some scraps of, not even papyrus, but actually literally on bark of tree and different things like that, these beautiful scrolls or these tablets that were written and put together. And that was the basis for the beginning of Ayurvedic medicine. But in that, again, we still have trouble to this day understanding how they knew so much about the world. And not just in the world that we think about in terms of maybe physical health, using specific herbs, or whether it be an old school de-stress protocol, right? The diet, the exercise, or the movement back then, stress reduction, et cetera. But they knew, regardless, how do they know thousands upon thousands of plant-based species, how they matched up to whether it be rheumatica, whether it be cold, flu-like symptoms, it could be wasp stings, like you name it, they knew. And again, I think that's still to be determined how they knew, but nonetheless, they did know. But Ayurvedic medicine, the medicine part of it is one branch of Ayurveda. And so we have to understand is that there's 8 full branches of Ayurvedic medicine. Believe it or not, they were doing surgery back then, thousands upon years ago. But there's another one, and it's one of my favorites, and that's psychology. And so when I've studied Ayurvedic medicine, I studied the psychology of Ayurvedic medicine as well. I've studied the yoga of Ayurveda. I've studied all the different forms of it. But of course, in my practice, I gravitate more towards the health side of it, but also the psychology, because the more that I practice, the more I understand that it is the mind, so like psychology, which often influences our physiology. So believe it or not, and I know that it's not necessarily new for some people, but it is for the majority of the world, that we can make ourselves sick. And that's not just like in getting a cold, but we can literally give ourselves dis-ease in the body. And I've gone through that on many health shows about how producing certain thoughts and feelings, let's say outside of the body, although we know it's part of the nervous system, but let's say the brain conjures it up and it creates an image and it leads to a feeling which then innervates the nervous system, which then can do what? Well, it can lower the immune system, it can produce more stress hormones, less sex hormones, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm not going to go through that here today, but again, in Ayurvedic medicine, they go through that quite in depth. What you may not know is that certain people are more prone to certain feelings. And when I've done Total Wellness Tuesday episodes on the psychology of individuals, we know that a good 50% of our happiness or unhappiness is just a trend. It doesn't mean that you're genetically based to be unhappy. It's just some people produce more happy thoughts, neurotransmitters, et cetera, than others. It goes to gut bacteria. It's the hormones that we produce, et cetera. But it also means that 50% is also in our control. And nobody's at a zero on either standpoint. So some people, they may be incredibly happy to a more natural level. Some people need to work at it a little bit more, but everybody can be happy. But when you look at the predispositions of each dosha, that just means there's 3 main types of individuals. In Ayurveda, they said this. We can look at that. We can actually correlate it with modern times. Now, essentially, I don't know if they were studying Ayurvedic medicine or not, but about 50 years ago, maybe a little bit more now, in modern medicine, they created something called the somatotypes. And the somatotypes were more psychological-based doshas, but they matched up, of course, perfectly with Ayurveda. You had the vata, which we call the ectomorph. You had the mesomorph, or the pitta, which modern day calls the mesomorph. And then we had the kapha in Ayurveda, which is now the modern day endomorph. If you're interested in learning more about Ayurveda, I will link up all the Ayurvedic shows at stephencabral.com/2565, as well as a really nice TED Talk on these modern day energy systems of the body or energetic based personalities. What I want to do right now though is just give you those energetic based personalities and see which one you fit into. All right. So it's kind of fun. While I was listening to the presentation that someone sent me, I of course played along and it was immediate. Like right away, I knew which one I was. I want to see if you knew or you know which one is right for you. So again, there's no right or wrong. As you'll see, there are good sides and negative sides to each energy that we exhibit the most of. And it doesn't mean that we can't incorporate all of them. I think that we do. It's just we tend towards one. So in the comments below, let me know which of the 4 you are, and then I'll give you the correlations with Ayurveda. All right, so the very first one is fiery red. All right, I'm going to link up this talk that was given, and I will also give credit to whoever gave the Scott Schweller, I believe is the last name. I'm gonna link that up just to make sure I give credit to these slides. So fiery red is the first one. We're kind of looking at the right-hand upper quadrant. This person is competitive. They're demanding. They're determined. They're strong-willed. They're purposeful. It's like go, go, go all the time. What's the next thing? All right, got it, and moving on, right? So it's like it's going, it's competitive. You want to win all the time, all those different types of things, right? All right, so the yellow, and I'll share what mine is in just a moment. You want to listen to all 4 first. The yellow, sunshine yellow, is sociable, dynamic, demonstrative, enthusiastic, and persuasive. All right, so sociable, dynamic, demonstrative, enthusiastic, persuasive. All right, so someone that enjoys going out, meeting with other people, having conversations, getting people together, setting up dinners, like all of those things, all right? They love being on social media. They love chatting with people. And then the next one is earth green. We're moving around the quadrant, all right? And we'll pop this up on the screen. So if you're watching this on YouTube, we appreciate you. We'd love you to subscribe to the channel every day, bringing you brand new shows. All right, next up, earth green, caring, encouraging, sharing, patient, and relaxed. Those of you who studied Ayurvedic medicine, right away you should know which dosha this is. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But you're caring, you encourage others, you share with others, you're patient, you hold space for them, and you're relaxed, you're easygoing. And the last one is cool blue. We're moving up to that now, top left quadrant. So cool blue, people are cautious, they're more reserved, more formal, more precise, more deliberate, and more questioning in their actions, all right? So again, no one is better than another at all, but that's the first set. So fiery red, that's going to be more, and I have more to go into as well with this, but that's more of the pitta, all right? So if you're thinking about what's the pitta? Well, you know, they're competitive, they're fierce, they're go-getters, they're confident, they're leaders, take charge type of personalities. They're always on the go, right? Always creating, always making something happen. And then the blue, right? We just did the blue. That was the last one before this. Cautious, precise, deliberate, questioning, a little bit more formal, maybe a little bit more reserved, maybe sometimes a little bit more anxious. That right there is the vata, right? The vata, it also corresponds with, more of that quieter, anxious body type. Then we have the caring, encouraging, sharing, patient, and relaxed dosha. And what is that? That is the kapha, right? So kapha is earth green, vata, cool blue, pitta, fiery red. You know, and it matches up really well because, you know, if we look at these, the vata is what? It's air and ether, right? You're kind of moving with the wind. You're a little unsteady. You're unsure. You're questioning. What is pitta? Well, fire, right? They are literally fiery. They're burning things up. You have to be careful. We'll get to that in the next slide. Is that you have to be careful that you literally don't burn others out either with all of your fire and competitiveness. And it's not meant in a bad way. Like that's the thing. Pittas don't mean to be competitive in a bad way often. They're just they're looking to get to the maximal, get the best out of everyone and themselves as well. And then earth green. All right. Well, what is the kapha body type, right? What's the endomorph? It's characterized by earth and is characterized by water. And so it's very calm, it's very stationary, it's grounded. That's that. Now the yellow is interesting because in yellow, if we think about it, what is it? Sociable, dynamic, demonstrative, enthusiastic, persuasive. That's a combination one. Sociable, all right, well, that's the kapha. Dynamic, that is more of the pitta. The enthusiastic, pitta, as well as maybe some of that kapha, and persuasive, that's more of the pitta. So it's still more on the pitta side, and that's why I'm going to share with you mine, and then I'm going to go into the negative. So I want you to choose yours and choose yours now, but how it moves is moving from pitta to more of a pitta kapha, to then more, and then kapha, and then vata at the top. And again, you don't have to base this on your dosha, because keep in mind that my personality is not my physical dosha, all right? My mentality and my personality in Ayurveda is the fiery red. Now, not everybody may guess that about me. They really may not. Some people, of course, if you know me well, you do know that that's a very strong side of me. But I try to keep it balanced, because when I was very younger, that fiery red burnt me out. It was one of the reasons why I got so sick at 17. It wasn't just all of the antibiotics, or it wasn't just the Epstein-Barr virus. It wasn't just all of those different things. It was also, trying to be an all-A student, playing sports every single season in high school, trying to go for varsity letter, trying to do national honor society, trying to do all these things like a pitta would typically try to do. And it was too much. My body, my everything was not built for that, and I broke down. And that's the truth, is that, yes, it was all of the different conventional medicine, the adenoids taken out, the tonsils taken out, the allergies, the medications I was on, again, the 3,000 capsules of amoxicillin, right? All of those things are very, very detrimental to the human body. But my body did burn out. And over that time, though, I learned that the way to heal is that I had to calm a bit of that. Now, I don't get rid of it, because there can be a lot of benefits to that fiery red. Meaning like, getting things done, right? Or wanting to do my best for myself and for others, for my family. It's not just for me. It's wanting to get the best out of life for everybody. It's why I do Mindset and Motivation Mondays. It's not just for me. I have a need to share this. I have a need for others to want, hopefully, to inspire them to want to get better as well. So that's that fiery red. And I do have a bit, I would say, of just being more dynamic. I can be louder. I can talk loud. I can have a lot of energy. I can, go up to people when I feel like, I have something to share. I can do lunch and learns. I can do talks, whatever it might be. And I am enthusiastic, so there's no doubt about it. But, in terms of like sociable and all that, yeah, I love doing a certain amount of socializing, but I'm not truly like a very extroverted person, right? So there's kind of, there's a lot of talk about introvert, extrovert. I wouldn't say that I'm dynamically either, right? But certainly, if I'm choosing one or the other, I'm in my research lab, my cave, reading, writing, recording, and I'm doing that by myself. Now, do I love having a team? Of course I do. I love it. But, for me, if I could choose between one or the other, for the majority of the time, I want to do both. Right? That's why I love going into talks. I love giving talks. I love meeting people. But at the end of the day, I love having my quiet time as well. I love being able to be with my family and just, some downtime too. So, something it's interesting to think about. So what I want you to do is choose yours. Fiery red, sunshine yellow, earth green, or cool blue. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to see which one you are. Now, let's go into, though, a little bit deeper. So some of the negatives that people might think about it, like this is how, on your worst day, right, you're having a bad day, this is how people would describe you. My team maybe as well, right? My family as well. All right, so fiery red, you're more aggressive, people might say to you. You're controlling, you're driving, you're overbearing, and you're intolerant. And I would say impatient. Impatient's not on that list, but it should be on that list as well. So on my worst day, it can absolutely be all of those. Like, controlling, not so much. I gave that up, I think, quite a long time ago. I mean, I have, we probably have like 80 to 100 people on my teams for all the different companies that we have, health companies, and I let them do their job. I mean, I really do. I try to help maximize their potential, because they are better than me in many, many areas, and I want to see that maximized for them and for all of you in the community. So, that part of it, driving, yes, I want to get things done. Because I want to also then do the next thing. That's a very pitta thing, right? Like, hey guys, we need to get this done. We need to make this happen because this comes next. And we can't get to this great stuff until we do this. So for sure, that's a big part of it. And again, these are my like worst days for sure. And being impatient, I have to fight against impatience all the time. And it's never in a bad way. It's not like I'm like scolding people. It's not about that. It's impatient that like this life, and I look at it very uniquely because again, I was sick for 10 years. 17 to 27 was taken from me, right? But now it's given me so much more back because I have perspective, I have gratitude. But I also look at it as life is short, right? Like life is short. And so what I want to do is just make sure that we do all the things that matter to us so that we have no regrets. So that's fiery red, right? It's bad day. All right, so now sunshine yellow. What's a bad day for sunshine yellow that people might say about you? You're excitable, you're frantic, you're indiscreet, meaning like you say whatever's on your mind, flamboyant, or hasty, doing things too quickly, right? All right, that's sunshine yellow. And I think that that's pretty good. I think that that's, great for sure. And I certainly exhibit some of those myself. All right, earth green. What about that kapha? What are they saying about the kapha? All right, or the endomorph. They're docile, like you're too docile, too easygoing, too bland. Like, be more interesting, right? Do more stuff. You're plotting. You think about things, right? You're kind of mulling them over. You're reliant. I don't see how that would be bad at all. And stubborn. And in Ayurveda, they say one thing about the kapha, though, is they can sometimes be jealous as well. All right? And again, so we have all the beauty of the endomorph and the kapha, and then we have some of the negatives as well. And there's beauty and there's negatives to all of these. All right, now the cool blue. Sometimes people can call them stuffy. Like, a lot of people from Boston, Massachusetts could say, hey, those New Englanders or those Bostonians are stuffy, right? Well, maybe not. Maybe they're just kind of keeping to themselves because they're from a different part of the world and they grew up in a different way, like not meant to be stuffy. It's just because you have a conversation with a Bostonian, they're usually pretty good people. Meet one on a plane and have a conversation as long as they're, of course, not a pitch and they're like, I have to get this done within the next hour. Fun conversations. They're cool blue, so the vata can be indecisive because they're always worried about making the wrong decision, right? The vata. Suspicious, they can be suspicious of others. They're, again, that wind, that ether. They're a little bit more like, is this the right choice? Are they the right person? Is this a good person or are they a bad person? Am I going to get hurt or not get hurt, right? They can be cold, right? That's more like stuffy, like, this person doesn't look like they're smiling, right? Are they happy? I don't know. And they're more reserved. All right, so that's more of that vata, anxious, reserved, a little bit worried. And so that, again, doesn't mean it happens all the time, but there's the good side and sometimes there's the bad side. I like this too. I just want to share just a couple more with you. The fiery red, this is like in an elevator. What would the pitta do in an elevator? They would get into the elevator and they would immediately press the close door button. They've got to get to their next destination right away, as fast as possible, right? They see someone coming, they're clicking that closed door button. Now, I would hope I would not do that personally, but certainly that's more of that pitta mindset. For yellow, they would see the elevator as a great opportunity to catch up and chat with people. They may hold the door open even to finish a conversation with someone they chatted with while inside the elevator that they met them. All right, the green, more of that kapha, they use the open door button to actually help others get in. They might even pop their head out to look around to see if there's someone coming. All right, the blue, that vata, they calculate the combined weight of everyone already inside of the elevator in order to make sure that they haven't met the maximum pound restrictions. My oldest daughter is a lot like that. That's funny. So there you have it. That's the elevator-based test. And then we have the how you might best contribute, to the world. And everybody has their own way of doing it. So kind of starting with that fiery red, and we'll kind of go around all the way through the yellow, the green, and then the blue. And this is the last one. It's getting it done. So basically, the fiery red's like, we need to do it now. It needs to happen today, right? So it'd be nice for my team to listen to this so they'll kind of understand like why does it have to be today? Why can't it be tomorrow? And the next one as we move to orange is getting it started. All right, that's better. Getting it done now is better, but let's at least get it started. And then the yellow is they're more sociable. Hey, let's do it together as a team, right? Let's hold a team meeting. Where the red's like, I don't want to do a team meeting. Let's just get it done, right? And then as we move to green, we're getting into agreement. All right, we're making a plan. And then we're also doing it the right way for everybody, the kind way. As we move to blue, we're going to do it carefully. All right, we're going to make sure it's done right, and we're going to make sure it's done correctly. So as we move through them, it's very interesting to see how that we work with others on a team. And I'm going to be doing an IHP podcast for our IHPs to try to figure out like who might you work best with. So on my team, I already knew, like I've known because I've been working on my own since 2000. And so I've always known what like my skills are and what skills I don't have, or I could try to develop, but it's not naturally me. So whenever I opened up, I opened multiple locations for health and wellness and fitness and all that inside of Boston. And every single time I always hired a manager, always. And their job was to hire more team members and use the training protocols that I've created to train them and help with the front desk and answer emails and customer support, because I knew that as a fiery red, that was not going to be my strongest suit. So what you realize in life is that, yes, you should be patient, right? Like I should be patient, and I do try to be, of course. I tried it very, very hard to do that at work and also with my daughters, with my family. And so, yes, you want to work on all those things. You don't want to be the worst side of you, but at the same time, you want to realize that just naturally, people trend in one direction. Call it nature, call it nurture. I think it's a bit of both. I really do. I mean, my wife and I always say we raised our daughters really the same exact way. And I know, but there's a lot to birth order. I believe that there is. Not always, but I see a lot of oldest born a little bit more fiery red. Maybe there's something to birth signs as well. I don't know. It's not my forte, but I'm an Aries. And so I'm oldest born. I'm also Pitta-based mindset. And an Aries. And so it's like, well, I had no chance but to be fiery red, right? So it's interesting to look at all this. I find it fascinating. They've been talking about this for 6,000 plus years, and there's just different takes on it. But for sure, we kind of all enter this world maybe a certain way, and then our nurture part of it moves us, I think, deeper in that direction, or maybe makes us a little bit more balanced. I'd love to hear your take on this. Feel free to let me know below in the comments. I would love to hear from you. As always, thanks so much for tuning into the show. I appreciate you. I thank you. Have an amazing start to the week. Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my health results accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stephencabral.com/courses.